Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're choosing to do this video. So in today's session, what I thought I would do was take you through a nice, soft, steady flow, a little bit of a flow, not really very much, but just to be able to connect from one posture to the next. It's going to be just easing us. I want you to get into that really soft and kind of releasing and letting go effect, really, just to be able to kind of ease us into a bit more back bending. So back bendings for a lot of us don't come particularly easy, so we need to kind of really just keep going. And it is, like some people, it's just ultra easy for them to be able to do and they can just lift up. Some of us just need a lot more warming up when it comes to back bending. So this is what I'm kind of planning to do, just the nice and slow, steady, just easing into the back bending. So you're going to need, if you do have a bolster, then grab it because you can be using that. Your blocks as well, and a blanket. I wonder where my blanket had just gone. So I've got a blanket as well. So you'll need those. You can have a belt handy just in case that you do need that in a little while. So let's get us started in it. So grab your block first of all, just to be able to sit on it. And ideally just sitting just with your legs in a nice, easy, cross-legged. Now, if that causes any issues kind of sitting with the legs kind of in this position, you can either take, I'm just going to show you with two different things, but ideally you just want one, you want two things that are the same. So you can either just use kind of like a blanket or something just to play. If your leg is up, let's imagine that that leg is up really high. So that's just going to support it. So same on the other side. If your knees are right up around your ears, just give it a little bit of support, just help it, because if it's going to be moving down towards something and it feels that connection, the body is going to feel a lot more safe and secure, and it's going to release and let go. Now, if you don't need it, then obviously don't use it. But if you feel as if your legs are kind of really hanging on in there, then I would use it. Okay, a little bit of a wriggle out and just give the shoulders a bit of a roll back, and then just feel that connection down towards the block. So closing your eyes, allow your attention just to turn, first of all, just onto your physical form. So just onto what you're bringing to your mat, how you physically feel. So whether you do have any aches or pains or anything like that, just register that they're there. So we're not ignoring them. We're still know kind of if we have any injuries and things, we're still going to be respectful of those as we work through our practice. Okay, then just turn your attention just onto how you feel emotionally, mentally. Just again, what you're bringing to the mat with you today, just how you feel. You may be doing this in the morning and the head is often a little bit clearer in the morning. Or you may be doing this on an evening and the head is a little bit fuller. You still have the day that you've brought along with you and onto the mat. So just recognize if you do feel like that, and then allow your attention just to turn to this time to spend solely on yourself. And then bring your attention now onto your breathing. So soft, smooth, quiet breath on the inhale, and soft, smooth, quiet breath on the exhale. Now, when we feel that the breath starts to move in unison with the body, this is when we're ready then just to begin our practice. So as you inhale, you'll feel the body, you actually feel the body expand and move with that breath. And then as you exhale, you'll feel the body physically, mentally, emotionally move with the body as you exhale. So when we are at that point, just bringing the palms together. So when the hands are together, they're moving in towards the heart center, and the heart center is lifting up towards the hands. Time then just to set your intention. And whatever it is that's brought you to the mat, what is it that you're looking for? And be truthful with yourself. maybe just peace, or maybe working on something more on a physical form. When you have that, bring the thumbs up to the space between your eyes. So just connecting into your inner knowledge and wisdom, your intuitive center. Take the hands up over the crown. So your intention is then out there. And then draw the hands back down again towards your heart center. Again, just being reminded that that center is for love and compassion. So always working with that when you're working with yourself. And for everything, really. Okay, and bringing the hands down. So just start a little bit of movement, just to start the small of the back moving. So tilting your pelvis forwards and back. When you start to get that little bit of movement there, and then you can start to bring in the rest of the spine. So again, if you're in the morning doing this practice, it may feel like you need a little bit of more time and it really focus to the areas which are not moving so much. If it's last thing at night when you're doing this, just be, again, careful of the areas which are moving really well, and just, again, take your attention to some of the areas that are not moving so well. Okay, and then we're back up to sitting. Take a simple twist round to your right side. So right hand going back behind, left hand coming across, turning and looking back. Bring it back to the center. And then round to the left side, one hand back, one hand moving round and looking back. And then back to the center. Place your right hand down onto the floor, left arm coming up. Inhale, taking that arm up, and exhale as you take the arm over the head. Make sure your bottom stays firmly rooted down. And then inhale as you come back up, and exhale the hand back down. Same onto the left side. So hand going down, inhale, arm going up. Exhale as you're taking that arm over the head. Inhale, coming back up, and exhale as you bring the arms down. Keep your shoulders nice big roll out. And then I'm going to just turn like sideways on now. So you want to be kind of at that long edge of your mat. If you have your blocks handy, you can always just move them just to the top edge of your, oh, sorry, we don't need them for now. So you're going to, sorry about that. So you're going to have either 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks or a bolster and place it just in between your feet. So right near your ankles. I know some of you may be screaming at me now with doing this one so early on, but this is why just, grab all the blocks and things that you need. Just place it between your feet so the bottom is sitting nice and comfortable on that. Now, pull a little bit of the inner flesh on your thighs up so we have the knees pointing straight ahead. Sink your bottom down. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll and then bringing the hands straight out in front. Interlock your fingers, turning the hands over and taking the arms up over the head. So nice long stretch out and just really start to connect again with the breath. So feeling that connection of your bottom rooting down, arms going up, and the feet are just heading back. Okay, and after your next exhalation, bringing the hands down. So for those that can, you're going to just move your block away and you can bring your feet right together. So you're sat neatly back onto the heels. Now, obviously, if that's not going to work for you, then stay with the blocks in between your feet. Bringing the hands forward again, change the interlock this time, turning the hands over. Keep your bottom firmly rooted down, belly drawing in, arms reaching up, and just looking straight ahead. Now you can connect into that Ujjayi breathing, so the breath that sounds a little bit like Darth Vader, so you're hearing that rasping sound of your breath. Keep the arms reaching up as much as you can. And then bringing the hands down. Okay, so from here, take your arms and reach them forward. So keep the bottom back again towards the heels. And even if you're on a block, don't worry, you can just still bring your hands forward. See if we can get, like for some of you, you may be able to just get the forehead down towards the floor. Don't worry about that if it's not right down. We're just aiming just to stretch out a little bit through the whole of the back of the, well, through the back of the body, not so much in the legs. And then use the stomach muscles, drawing back and coming back up to sitting. Again, take a little twist round to your right side. So just turning and looking back. Bring it back round to the centre and then around to the left side. And back round to the centre again. Okay, stretch your arms straight out in front. Come up onto hands and knees. This time make sure your knees are just underneath your hips, feet are stretching back, bottom back as you stretch the arms forward. Now making sure that we feel here that it's drawing in, it's pulling in, so you're rolling the tops of the shoulders out. So we're going to be lifting it up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So from here, bring yourself up, tuck your toes, get them pushing right in, so nice and firm, push back a little bit, and then easing up through the legs. Just pedal out a little bit with the feet, and just, seeing this is our first one, we just got to find our footing here. So give the feet a nice big stretch out, so right at the backs of the toes, underneath the soles of the feet, the ankles, the knees. Might be that you want to just swagger the hips a little bit more over from side to side. Okay, now when you feel as if the legs have moved enough, just pay attention now onto your hands. Really spread out with the fingers and feel as if you're lifting up just away from your wrists. Now I want you to just bend your elbows slightly. Now you feel how it kind of starts to move the weight forward. We can still have that weight coming back, and then again feel as if we're rolling out the tops of the arms and you're rolling and bringing your elbows in, and then aim to straighten them out a little bit more. So just holding here, stretching back, hips up as high as you can. Now pulling up on your thigh muscles, push the thigh bone back to the wall behind you, edging those heels back, and then come back down. So just down to the knees, rest the head down, give the arms a little rest by just maybe taking them back. Just give them a little shake out if you want to, and fully let go into that breath. Really feel that you can release and just let go. Okay, and then again, bring your arms forward. So we're going to go back up again into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So coming up, tuck the toes, and then lifting up. Okay, so we recognize the pose a little bit more now. It feels a little bit more comfortable. Second time around. So we're just going to start, bring your feet slightly closer together. Just a gap maybe of about 3-4 inches or so in between your feet. Now taking your right leg, lift that leg up nice and high. So making sure that you're not swinging into the back, keep the belly drawing in, point the toes as much as you can. And then we're looking forward, stay looking forward as much as you can. Bringing the hands up between, or bringing the feet, the foot up between your hands. Now bring that back knee down. You can keep the toes just tucked in for a moment, keep the lift and just looking up. So you can always use your blocks here just underneath the hands if you want to get a little bit more of a lift. We're only going to hold here just for a little while, just pushing down, just lifting up, and a nice high lift and getting the chest to move forward. Now you can see I'm not really stretching out too well. I am stretching out in my back leg, but it's not perfectly straight at the moment. Just focusing it more just into the hip. Okay, and then we can just lose those blocks again as we straighten out in the back leg, taking that leg back. Okay, once we've started to level up here, and again, if you need to, just wriggle out a little bit in the hips, and then we're going to work it onto the left-hand side. So take the leg, lift the leg up nice and high. Remember, not working right into your back, so you're not swinging it and losing it there. Keep the belly drawing in, look forward, bring that leg through, and up between the hands. So back knee is going to go down. Again, I'm not going to be straightening out too much on this leg, but I'm feeling this here. So just easing into it. Again, if you want to, you can always press down into your blocks, bringing your chest forward. So feel as if your left hip this time is pulling back a little bit just to keep the hips level. Okay. And then one more breath here. And then we can start just again, loosen the blocks, place the hands down, straighten out and pull back. Okay, so from here, come forward a little bit onto your toes, bring your knees down, relax the feet, take the bottom back towards the heels. Then from here, just pulling up through the back and just edge your hips forward. So slowly making your way back down again, take the hands a little bit further forward. Little lift up so we'll leave the lower part of your rib cage down onto the floor. And then bringing it back down again. Hands come back, push yourself up, hands and knees, tuck the toes, let the hands come back a little bit to where they originally were, and then easing back. From here, take your right leg, lift that leg up in the air, look forward, bring the foot through, up between the hands again. Once it's here, we're going to just bring that back leg down. Now relax the foot this time. Hand is just going down on, pressing it down onto the floor and just turning, just easing into the hips just a little bit more. Okay, now if you feel okay with it here, if your hips are down a good way, and you can even kind of rock over a little bit more towards that left-hand side. So I'm just really easing over. Now my back foot, I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit, taking it back a little bit further. Then from there, I can bend that leg in. See if I can bring the hand round and grab hold of the foot, drawing the shoulder back. Now I know, I realise it is a little bit of a big ask just at the moment. So if you feel that it's really inaccessible for you at the moment, so either hold there, if you're with it. Now, if you want to kind of have a variation on that, you're just going to bring yourselves back up. So the leg which I was taking back, I'm just going to be at the wall and just pull it. You can see that way around, and I'm just doing this with the leg. Just again, feel that your knee is heading away, but we'll just get the stretch here. Okay, so the ones that are still on the floor now, that's probably kind of that's it. Let that leg go down. So, and then you can start straightening out in the back leg, bring that leg back. So back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And then the others that have gone to the wall, just take one more breath there. And then you can join us back in Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. Now, it's always good just to try it on the other side. So you may be able to kind of reach the foot. And if you can't, again, then you come up and you go to the wall. Okay, so we're going to take left leg up, and that leg up nice and high, look forward, bring that foot through, so it's up between the hands. We have the back leg, knee going down, relaxing that foot, and then I'm just going to rest a little bit more into this hand, and just start just to ease out a little bit, so you can see, kind of rolling, bringing my hip down, just a little bit more. So again, if you need to, you come up and you go to the wall. If you know that when you can straighten that back leg out, sorry, a little bit more. So we're just kind of coming off the kneecap more. Bring that leg up. See if we can reach round, hold onto that foot and drawing the shoulder back. So say, if that's not working for you, then bring yourself out of the pose, take yourself to the wall, and we're just catching hold of that foot back behind you. And keep thinking of the knee heading down to the floor and your hips moving forward. Okay, I'm going to take a few more breaths here because I think we did quite a bit longer on the other side. So we need to kind of keep a bit more leveled up. Okay, and then releasing on that foot, bring yourself back round. I'm going to lift back up again into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So just drawing back. Okay, so from here, we'll come right up onto the toes, sink your chest back, keep your belly drawing back and edge your heels back to the wall behind. Take a breath. And then lift up with your right leg again. Up nice and high. Look forward, up between the hands. Bring your foot up. Okay, now back leg, we're going to bring it halfway. I'm going to angle it slightly so my toes on my left foot are heading off to the top edge of my the left-hand corner of my mat. Now you can take your blocks, you can just place them just there to place your hands on, whichever height you feel is better for you, working on getting the hips level. So the leg which is forward, you'll see I'll kind of want to do that. So, and you'll see kind of more of my bum than is needed. So we're just going to pull that back a bit so you're seeing the outside of my thigh instead. Okay, so our arms are going to stretch forward. Take them as far forward as we can, reaching forward, coming down, if that's accessible to us. Otherwise, if you feel like you're really pushing into your back, if it's kind of doing that more, then just either come up a little bit higher and then think of lengthening forward. Only if it feels okay, you can come down, maybe bringing the head down to the floor. Oh, not to the floor, to your shin. Okay, right, so we can just let those blocks go down. Bend your front knee, step that back leg back a bit more, and then take the right leg back to follow it. Okay, so we're back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. Okay, so from here, again, we're going to do the same on the left-hand side. So we're bringing that left leg up, again, just being careful that we're not swinging it out into the hips. So, and into the back. So we'll look forward and then bring that foot through, right up. So we have it there. We're going to bring our right leg halfway, turning your toes off slightly as if the toes are heading to the top right-hand corner of your mat. If you need to, you have your blocks handy to place on whatever height, and you're aiming to lengthen forward as much as you can. Again, remember the leg which is forward, that hip will go off to the side, so you've got to pull that side back, get it nice and level, so we're not shortening on either side of the waist. When that happens, we lengthen forward, we're just easing down with the head, not to the floor, but to the shin. Okay. Right then, so I can just imagine your faces. Right, so from here, again, if you do need to, just lengthen forward that little bit more. Wants to be an even stretch on both legs. Again, if you want to, your head is in. And then when we come out of it, we're softening out in that front leg. We're then placing the hands down. We step that back leg back a little bit more. Take the other leg back and easing back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. Lots of length through the sides of the body. Come forward into your plank and scoot your feet back, knees down, chin and chest coming down, and then slide through, take a little lift up. Keep the hips down onto the floor, keep the legs stretching back. So we're just in Bhujangasana. If that's a bit much, come down. You can just bring your hands slightly further forward. Again, not swing into it, draw back through your belly, lift up in the chest, looking up. And then releasing back down. Okay, from here, bring your hands back, just level with your rib cage. You're going to push all the way back up, and we're going to again sit back either onto your heels, or you're going to sit back again just with a block just between your legs. So if you do feel okay with it, we're right there. Good. Okay, otherwise give you time, just pop a block in. If your block is going in, remember your feet are out. Keep the edges of the feet and the ankles close up to the side of that block. Otherwise you're going to be sitting back nice and snugly back onto your heels. Take your arms straight out in front. Interlock your fingers, turning your hands over. Take your arms up over the head. Bringing your hands back down. Okay, come forward. If you have been onto your heels or with a block, see then if we can just take the legs out just a little way, just to be able to sit back towards the floor. If that's not working for you, if it's straining on the knees, or if you're really screaming inside, then place something just between onto your bottom. It can even be if you have a pair of socks, you can just, that's all that's maybe needed, just that little bit of extra height, just tucking in, just to make that connection down onto something. Okay. And then arms straight out in front again. Changing the interlock this time, turning the hands over, taking the hands away and bringing the arms up over the head. Again, nice long stretch up while the bottom is down. Keep the belly drawing in, keeping that lift. And then bringing the hands down. Okay, so come forward onto your hands and knees. You're going to take your left leg, bring it forward, just crossing it over, but keep the knee in right in the center of your mat. Taking your right leg just directly behind. Have a block in case you need it, because then you're going to sit yourself back onto that block. So Gomukhasana legs. Now, when we're here, we're just, again, you might even just want to be up here, just sat perfectly upright. You might even want, if you're struggling, have that top leg with the foot on the floor, or even here, just focus on the bottom leg, just going back. So it's going to give that rotation out on that, the leg that's tucked under, it's going to help with that hip rotation there. So just worry about one leg at a time, that's fine. If it is okay for you, you can bring that leg over the top. And ideally, you want both soles of the feet stretching and looking back. Okay, hands go down onto the leg. So if you're here, don't worry about it. You can just kind of keep upright and just working on this leg. Something for all. Now, if you are in this stage, you can either stay here, or if you feel that you're able, you come down and you place your hands straight out in front, getting that long length through the sides of the body. Feel the armpit skin just stretching as you're taking the hands further away. So I know some of you'll be able to kind of take the block out and then maybe come forward a little bit more. So we're even to there. And I know some, you'll be able to get your head down a lot lower than I am. That's really good. Just go for it, whatever stage you're at. So remember, I'm just going to bring myself up. I'm just going to go back up into this one again. So if we're here, we're focusing on this leg rolling out. Okay, slowly make your way back up again. And then we're going to come forward. So if you are in this position, you can come forward and then just change maybe the legs over and then again sit back. So you can either work it that way. Now, if you were just sat, if it was a little bit more awkward, if you had that leg underneath and one leg there, just stay sitting upright and then bring that leg over. So again, you can sit in this position, so you know where you're going with that now. If you're fine with the legs going right across, then you work it to there. You can press down. We're keeping that lift in the body. When we have the lift, then we can start to come forward. So when we come forward, we're lengthening forward as much as we can. If I'm not sure whether it's right for me on this side, oh yeah, not too bad, okay? So I'm back and then I can reach my hands forward. So we take a few breaths. So really starting to work the hips in every range. We'll come forward, we're going out to the sides, what we did when we sat in Sukhasana right at the very beginning, that easy cross-legged. We've been forward, we've had the legs in, we work the hip flexors. These are the rotator muscles that we're working here. You may feel that as well, kind of pulling nicely here. Okay, so from here, then we can come forward again. Obviously, if you're sat, you're just going to have to undo yourself and then come forward. So otherwise, you come forward, taking the legs back, lifting up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so from here, come right up onto the toes, pull up high onto those thigh muscles, and then moving the thigh bones back. Chest is heading back towards the legs. We're scooping the belly back, nice and strong through the arms. Come forward just into a plank position. Bring your knees down. This time, just relax the feet. We're going to keep the arms straight as you bring your hips forward. Now, when the hips are coming forward, you've got to feel as if you're holding the mat and dragging yourself forward to get a little bit more just out of the front of the hips there, and also moving right up the front of the body as well. You really start to feel that lift. Keep the feet stretching right back. You're not wanting to let those feet flop out to the sides. If you do that, you'll notice a difference in your back. So legs nice and strong. Okay, head down, keep the arms straight, pull back up, hands and knees, tuck your toes, lifting up, so pulling right up again into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Now from here, again, we're going to lift up with the right leg, taking that leg up nice and high. Look forward, top edge of your mat. Bring that foot through, so right up between the hands. Back heel now is going to be lifted as we reach forward. So we're coming up into crescent moon pose. So back leg nice and strong, unlike before when we had the knee down. So take the arms, lifting them up, pulling up right up away from the legs. Oh, there's a little bit of a wobble on the legs there. So pushing back as much as we can into that back heel. Really feel like you're lifting up out of that front hip. So arms are stretching right up. Now turn the palms facing forward. Draw your shoulders back. So easing back as much as you can. Keeping the chest lifted, and then bring it back up. Okay, you're going to turn your hands as if the palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Bringing the hands back behind you. So as if the palms are looking back now behind, squeezing on the belly. Raise the arms back up again. Palms facing in, stretch forward, and bring the hands down to the floor. Okay, front leg back into Ardha Mukha Svanasana again. Take a few breaths here, nice and smooth. Okay, left leg, lift the leg up nice and high. Look forward, bring that foot through. So crescent moon pose again. So back heel, pushing into the floor and pushing up. No, the toes are in the floor. The heel is pushing back as much as you can. So my arms now again start to lift up out of the pose. Legs are strong, pushing back so the back leg is nice and straight, right through the back of the thigh. Now once I have this lift, turning my palms facing forward, drawing my shoulders back, lifting the chest up as much as I can. Good, get that lift, nice strong lift, squeezing on the belly. Really start to feel that then just in the hip flexor, right at the top of the back leg. Bring my arms back up again. Good, now I'm going to turn so my palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Bring them back as if they're reaching back. Get a little bit more of a lift up out of it. And then taking the arms back up. Palms facing in as I come forward with my hands, bringing my hands down to the floor. Okay, from here, bring that leg all the way back. So up again into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a breath. And then from here, come forward again. We're going to keep right onto the toes. And we're going to edge the hips forward. So keep the heels pushing back. So rolling the top part of your back and the shoulders all the way back. Looking up towards the ceiling. Keep the belly drawing in as much as we can. Arms strong. And then pulling back. Squeeze your belly as you pull all the way back. Okay, from here, right up onto the toes. Come down to the knees. And then sit back again just onto the heels. Arms are stretching forward. So it may feel a little bit easier now just onto the heels. Now, if you're still struggling, you have your blanket. Bunch it up as much as you need to, but make sure it's not how mine just looked, just right then. So make sure it is nice and even, because you don't want one leg to feel different to the other, really. So rolling up like a sausage. Place it between so it gives you that little bit of space. Then again, we can stretch forward. Now, obviously, if you're fine on your legs, you might not need that there at all. You can sit the bottom back. We're going to go round, first of all, to the right-hand side. So keep your bottom back as you're just edging round, trying to pull that left arm round as far round as you can. You can have the head down. Okay, and then from here, we can then go over to the other side. So stretching right round, taking my right arm round further this time, bottom back towards the heels. And then arms stretching forward again. Okay, stretch your arms a little bit further forward as you look forward. Pull yourself up, and again, we're just going to start to lower the hips down, keeping the arms straight. So keep drawing up right through that lower part of the belly, sucking the belly in, lift and roll your shoulders back, push down nice and firm with the arms. Now, obviously, if that's hurting, come down just onto your elbows. My feet are stretching back as much as they can. And then everybody just lower yourself down, keeping those elbows in. Bring your hands just up level with your face. Keep your elbows in again. And we're just turning back just the top part of your back. So if you were already here in the last one, if you didn't want to lift right up, then that's fine. Perfect for you in this one. So keep the elbows squeezing in, top of the shoulders, rolling back, shoulder blades moving down. And then slowly bring it all the way back down again. Okay, from here, bring your hands back level with your rib cage. And then slowly start to peel yourself back up, coming right up, bottom back towards the heels. Draw back through your belly as you come back, so you're sat back onto your heels again. Now, we're going to go into Ustrasana. So if you have your blocks handy, you can just place them back behind you if you want them, depending on your range. You might only want them low. You might not even want them at all, okay? So we can always just have them there and knock them out of the way if you don't want them. So from here, again, if you move your feet out just a little bit so they're kind of level with your shoulders, because ideally they want to be about the same width as your shoulders. Make sure you feel as if you're drawing up on those thigh muscles when you come up. Now from there, bring your thumbs, press them in just onto the sacrum. So that top part of your bum cheek just in towards the center. Okay, pressing down. Now, as we press down and our legs are active, we're scooping in along the front of the body. We feel as if we're tipping back the top part, keeping my chin right in towards the chest. Now, I can either have my hands, oh, where's it gone? Down onto the blocks if I want to. So I'm pushing down onto there to work a little bit more up into the chest and let my head go. If I want to, I can have my blocks a little bit lower down so I can go back that little bit further, but keep my hips pushing forward. When I'm coming back up, hands back again, just onto the sacrum. Inhale as you lift up, let the head come up last. Okay, if you're not needing the blocks there at all, we're just going to move those out. Now for me, I prefer to be up on my toes, just to bring that height up just a little bit, especially on the first one. If you've done a few, you can maybe find that you can get the feet flat. Okay, so we're pulling up on the legs. If you're not sure how that feels, sit back for a moment. Oh, crunching in my knees. And then pulling up on the thighs. Get your hips to edge forward, hands behind. Inhale, lifting up, easing back now. So top part of the chest, keep that chin right in, keep it right in, keep it right in. Hands go down just onto your heels. Make that connection there. Push from the heels, lifting up with the chest. Head is going back. Take a few breaths. Really feel as if we're lifting and opening up through the chest. And then bring your hands just onto the sacrum again. And we're lifting up. Okay, once we're up, then again, just sit back to the heels. Take a few breaths. You may even want to just have your head down. So if that's the case, just kind of placing it down. Again, remember, you might need just something underneath the backs of your knees as well. Okay, so just kind of recognize how that feels, that fizziness. That's energy moving forward. So when we're back bending, we're opening up. It really starts to kind of wake us up a little bit more. Remember the difference. If you are feeling a little bit sick with it, then, you feel dizzy, then it is the fact that you've not opened enough in your chest and you're just crunching back the back of your neck. So really get that open feeling first in the chest before you take the head back. Okay, so here is where we're going to be using, you can do this, you can quite easily with blocks if you want to. If you've got a bolster handy, use your bolster. Okay, if you've got blankets and things, then use those if you want to. So I'm going to use, let me just show you where we're going with this first. I'm going to put a blanket there just at the front, and it's going to be slightly lower, you can see, than the bolster is. I'm going to take a block right onto the end there and hope it stays there. Right, now my feet, because I'm going to go back into Virasana again. So I'm going to sit back. Now if you've got blocks and things that you need to sit on, then that's fine. Sit on those. So I'm kind of okay, I can sit on the floor. And then I can take my back just on my back here, it's going to be supported by this blanket to make sure that I keep it down and I'm not going to overarch. Then I'm going to slowly start just to lower myself down, making sure that I feel as if my knees are looking straight ahead. Now, I'm not going to be on, hopefully, that block behind, not really anyway. And I'm going to start just to go, get myself comfortable there, take my arms straight up, and then grab hold of those creases in the elbows. And for me, because I don't have a great range on my shoulders, so I'm going to just take my hands back just to the block which I placed there. So you can see what happens. If I don't have that there, and I take my arms back, I have a tendency to kind of lift in my lower back. So I'll end up overarching there to compensate rather than take my arms back. Now I've done this a couple of times this morning, so I think my arms are all right to kind of get back onto there now. They can relax onto there. But again, you want to feel as if you're able to relax onto there and to work it just to be a little bit softer. Now, I know some of you that are doing the video, you may have no problem with kind of going back, and that's great, as long as it feels as if you can you're getting a stretch, but you can feel as if there is a softening also which is taking place. So we want to just be able to get that softening. So a couple more breaths there. And then we can just straighten out with the arms, so back behind. You can always grab hold of your bolster if you want to kind of increase your range a little bit. So I'm aiming to tuck my hands just underneath it, just so it's holding them in place. But again, just be careful that you're not overarching in your back. I'm still having that connection there, look, with the blanket kind of reminding me not to kind of stick my belly forward and to overarch. So just a couple more breaths. And then bringing my arms all the way back. And then I may need to just get my hands there, just to push, just to bring myself back up. And then I can move away from there, sit back onto my heels or back just onto back onto a block again, or if I'm not comfortable, back onto my heels. Okay, so from here, let's go back again into Ustrasana. So let me move that big one out of the way for a moment. Move that one out of the way. And I know for me, I'm fine. I can catch hold of my heels. Some of you, maybe you want the blocks in again. That's fine. Some of you, if you're comfortable with your feet flat as you reach back, then by all means go to there. Okay, so starting off, sitting back onto your heels. Then again, start to pull up, really work into the thigh muscles. So we're pulling up, drawing up, drawing up, drawing up. Okay, then I'm going to place my hands just onto my sacrum. I'm already thinking of zipping up, lifting up as much as I can. My chin is nicely tucked in. I'm starting just now just to ease back, pushing my thumbs down. So pushing down, it's kind of pushing my bum cheeks down. And then I can start just to reach back. So I can reach now just towards my heels, and then release my head back, pushing against my heels to lift my chest. When I do come back up, hands again onto the sacrum and lifting up, let the head just come up when you bring yourself all the way back up. And then again, just sit back just to the heels. So take a few breaths here. You might again just want to have the head just resting down. Just take a few breaths, just allow yourself just to kind of release and just go with it. Keep that focus just on your breathing. Okay, so from us here with the head down, just bring yourself back up. So, and then we can just come up onto the hands and knees. From here, again, just bring yourself forward, lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Bring your hands a little bit higher up, legs, stretch them back, pulling back as much as we can, and then easing up, looking up towards the ceiling. Watch that we're not bringing those shoulders around the ears, drawing them back and down, stretch the legs back, and then all the way back down. Okay, from here, draw your hands back just a little bit to the level with the rib cage. Bring yourselves all the way back up, hands and knees. Lift up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And then from here, you're going to look forward. We're going to jump forward, landing with the feet nice and lightly. When you jump, you can either walk or you can step. So aim to look forward as much as you can, looking up, because that's going to help with that jump. Okay? And then bend your knees, bring yourself all the way down to sitting. Hopefully a little bit more graceful than I did just then. And if you have your, this is where you're going to maybe have your belt, just having that belt handy. Okay, so with your legs, just wrap your belt just loosely around the legs. So your feet, your legs have kind of got a little bit of a distance just in between them like that. Okay? Now you can take your blocks and place them this way, so long ways. Normally we have them this way around. Just want you to place them this way. Start to come back over it so we can tip our arms over it. By all means, you could have just used, sorry, I should have probably mentioned, you could use your bolster again if you want to, just to kind of bring yourself up a little bit higher. And take the legs. Now, legs are going to just push out a little bit just into the belt, just to be able for the feet just to fall out a little bit to the sides. So just to, again, focus on just getting these shoulders just rolling back. Take a few breaths. Okay, and then bring the legs back in, placing the hands down. You can just bring yourselves back up to sitting. Grab hold of your blocks, and then this time when you lay yourself down, so just make sure that your belt's just staying where it is. And then we're coming down, you're taking your 2 blocks, or if you've got more, you can place more. Just place them underneath your hips, just holding onto the edges of the block. We can start just to take the legs away. Now, again, legs are a little bit of a distance apart. I'm going to just turn my big toes in ever so slightly in towards each other. So feel that there. Feel that inward rotation of the thighs. So as if we're kind of spreading out along the back of the body as you're rolling your legs in because the big toes are turning in. Okay, I'm holding on, still lifting up with my chest as well as with my hips. Just hold there, a couple of breaths. Okay, from here, bring your legs back in. If you feel okay with it, we'll lift up in the hips and we can turn the blocks around. So turning them on the edge or just building them up just with more blocks, or even if you have some books or a cushion or something, then you can place them there as well. If you've not got enough blocks, that is. Okay, so I'm rolling my shoulders under. My inner arms and palms are facing up. I'm aiming to kind of feel as if my big toes are turning in slightly in towards each other. Again, so this is spreading out in the back of the body and across the small of my back. So just pressing down, holding that there. So you can see we get a good high lift, a variation on Setu Bandha, which is bridge pose. It also helps us as well just as a preparation one for our next pose, for Dhanurasana. Okay, so we either stay here or we can then just lift up. We can remove any of the blocks and things out of the way. Bring yourself back down again. You can come down and take a breather if you were just in Setu, and then you can take yourself back up into it. If you're wanting to go a little bit further with it, I'm just going to lose the belt a moment, and I'm just going to take the 2 blocks. Placing your 2 blocks between your legs. Idea is, again, just turn the big toes in slightly and feel as if the inner thighs are rolling in towards each other. My hands are down, and then again, I can push and I can lift up. So I'm really squeezing hold of the block as I lift. Working it through my legs, working it through my feet. Keep the hips nice and lifted. Now from here, if you want to lift up that little bit further, then you're going to bring your hands, you've worked on kind of opening up a little bit with the hands, and the arms are earlier, so I'm going to bring your hands back. Works for me if I go slightly wider with my feet, although I am still gripping onto the blocks, and then push and lift up. Tuck your chin in as you come down, and then slowly rolling yourself back down again. Okay, now if you're struggling to lift, like it's not a great one for me, I struggle in this pose. It's not, back bending is not something that comes particularly easy, I think, as I've mentioned. So I'm going to give you a nice little variation. If you are up, then that's great. You can hold there and see if we can hold for about 5 or 6 breaths with that one. Now, if you are struggling, again, just using the wall. So I'm going to move my mat just to, hopefully I'm still in shot. If not, I'll just move things around, don't worry. Okay, so we have mat up against the wall. So you've got plenty of time just to kind of move your mat into place. Take your 2 blocks, remember, and they're going to go just to the wall. So I'll give you a little bit of a helping hand. It's the wrists generally, which can be a little bit of a problem as well, kind of taking the hands back. So as well as that bit of a lift off. So you can just lower yourself down. Again, if you do need to kind of have that focus of something, kind of squeezing onto something between your legs, and have that there, or use your belt. So if you was wanting to use your belt, I would open it up, just take it and place your feet in. So we've just got a little bit of a space there. Still have the feeling of bringing those legs in together. Right, so head is in between on the blocks. And you can even kind of stay here with it if you want to. So you can just be pushing down through your feet, work it to here, keep to there, work on that lift. Just keep focusing on bringing the hands back, see how that feels, and then coming back down. So push, lift up, placing the hands in. Okay, for the ones that want to go up a little bit further, and as I say, it's much easier for me to do it this way, much kinder as well on my back, because I know I have a tendency to not work my shoulders as much, and I can end up taking that into my lower back, which is not great. Okay, so make sure that we are working the shoulders and we're going with our range. So hand is onto the blocks, and then when you're ready, lifting up. I'm going to breathe out, and then on the next inhalation, I'm going to lift up. And there we are. And then to come back down, head in, and slowly starting to lower down. Okay, so once you are down, because there's a tendency just like, and then drawing it, just kind of save from drawing the knees in straight away. Just let the legs rock over just a little bit from side to side. So just to allow the back, just to adjust, just to settle. And then legs come back to the centre. And then if it feels okay, you can then draw the legs back in. Stretch your legs away after that. You can take the arms back over the head. If you remember to move your blocks and things out of the way. So arms going back over the head, nice long stretch out. Push away through the heels. Okay, so after we've done a few breaths here, again, then you can rock yourself up to sitting. And then we have our next pose we're going to be doing is going to be Shashasana, so your headstand pose. So with this, if you want to have your mat in place, you need to take yourself against the wall, then that's fine. And we're going to have an extra blanket as well. So you're going to place your hands onto, and your arm and your head onto the blanket. So I'll just place my mat back into place. So just give you that extra bit of padding just underneath your head, underneath your arms. So placing that down. Now when you're coming up, so making sure that you've got hold of your elbows. And then when you place them down onto the floor, that you bring your hands in, your elbows aren't moving at all. Okay, watch as you lift up. So if you watch, now the reason I go up this way is because then you can see as well that hopefully my bum and my legs are all in the same line and kind of in with my head. So, and you'll be able to see that way. So that's what you want to be looking for. You want to be looking, as your head is on the floor, you want to be looking and seeing that your feet are just in front of you. So when you walk in, everything is in the correct alignment as you lift up. If you're not wanting to do this pose, that's perfectly fine. Either relax out a little bit more in child's pose, so where we're just resting the head down. If you want to, you can just come forward into Uttanasana. So that would be here, just resting again with the head down. So we just, anything where we have the head facing down is just going to be a little bit more calming. Okay, so for those that are going up, so I've grabbed hold of my elbows, my hands are out in front, and then I'm placing my head down. So you can see, kind of like if you look there, then I'm looking straight ahead. I can then straighten out with my legs. I watch as my feet come in and in and in. And then pulling in, squeezing into your belly. That way we have more chance of keeping straight. So we're just pulling up, and we're just going to take a few breaths here. So just all the time lengthening up. Now push down through your arms. Pushing down, pushing down, pushing down, so it feels even lighter just on your head. Using more of the arms to push down. Keep the shoulders lifting up towards the waist. Keep the belly squeezing in. Keep the legs stretching up. Okay, now I'm just going to come down. So I'm going to explain how to come down, and then you can come down just after a few more breaths. So I'm bending the legs back, first of all, as if the feet are heading back behind me, and then squeeze the knees in towards the chest. So pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, and the feet come down. Once you're down, just relax with the head down onto the floor. So just in your own time now, just slowly make your way back down. And then once you are down, then everyone can just join us now into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And then from there, just the head hanging, just come down to the knees. Just sit back towards your heels again. Take the hands behind your head. Push your head back into the hands. Pushing it in, I'll show you this way around. So as you push in, you're bringing your chin in towards the chest. I'm pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. And then letting the hands just slide up my head just a little bit. And then release my hands from my head. Then I'm going to do that twice more. So push the head back into the hands. Bring your chin in towards the chest. Then let the hands just slide up the head. And then they release. And then once more. So pushing back, pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. Let the chin come in as my hands slide up my head and releasing the hands. And then bringing your arms down. Okay. So we should feel a little bit more alive. We should feel a little bit nicer about doing some back bends. So we're just going to finish that off now, just doing Savasana. We're going to do that kind of with the wall, using the wall. So take your bottom in, first of all, kind of sitting sideways onto the wall. Now, if you are at home, just be careful. I've done this before, and if you've got the gripper rods right near the edge of you on your carpet, then you're going to feel them. So I'm in close to the wall, and then just starting to turn, spin my legs up. Hands just down by the sides. Okay, legs are getting a nice big stretch right up the wall there. Bend your knees. We're not moving the rest of the body at all. I'm just keeping just everything just nice and still, just as I start to then push through the feet, just like I did when I was doing Setu Bandha in that bridge pose, bringing my hips up. Pushing in as far as I can comfortably go. And then bring my hands onto my back. Pushing in a little bit more, walk the feet up a tiny, tiny bit. And then bringing one leg up, bring the other leg up to join it. Push them through the heels. Now we're going to just let the legs, we're flexing the feet, hinging at the hips, letting the legs come over the head. Letting them come down as far down as they will comfortably go. Now you see there's no movement on the rest of the body. I've not had to shuffle my shoulders or to strain my neck in any way. Let the legs come back up. Right foot this time. Bring that leg down. Just hinge it at the hip. Now as I'm doing that, I'm going to be taking my left foot, heading it towards the wall. Depending on your range, you see how the right foot starts to come away from the floor. So just pushing it in, stretching it over. And then bring that one away from the wall. Let the foot just come back down. And then bring that leg back up. So same onto the left side. So flex the foot, let the foot come down. Taking my right one towards the wall. See, for me, my left now will come off the floor. So tap the wall. Really feel that stretch. And bring that leg away from the wall. Let the foot come back down to the floor. And then lifting that leg up. From here, then we're going to bend the legs. Place your feet back onto the wall. Release the hands. And slowly start just to roll it back down. Take a few breaths once you come down. And then ideally roll over to the right side and bring yourselves back up just away from the wall. Now we can go back to kind of our, either with your bolster if you want it, or your blocks. Again, we're just going to be taking the head back. Now, if you know when you're on the bolster, because they are quite big, so you might need to just have the blanket just behind as well. So we're going to go back, taking the arms back, and then let the head go back. Push your way through the heels, keep the strength through the legs. So obviously if you've got just your blocks here, then you may find that your head will go to the floor a little bit easier. If not, again, just place something underneath the head so there's no straining in the neck. Take a few breaths. Okay. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then bringing your arms back in. Slowly start to bring yourselves all the way back up to sitting. And then from here, you can bring yourselves down into Shavasana. So ideally, be as straight as you can be with this. So even if you're, obviously if your back is an issue, then you might want to place your bolster underneath your legs. But if you can manage, you just want to kind of be as flat as you can. Have the blanket so it's wrapping round, so you feel as if you're completely tucked in, nice and safe. So if so you can tuck it round like so. Mine's only on my legs, but if you've got your other blanket, you can place it on the top part of your body. Just rolling your shoulders back. So being as straight as you can, get the shoulders right back to the floor, pulling the arms back down towards the sides of the body, inner arms and palms facing up. Now if you feel okay with that, you can say that. Otherwise, just let the arms come out a little bit to the sides. Let the feet just fall. If I move the blanket, you'll be able to see my feet. So just let your feet fall out a little bit to the sides, but aim to keep the legs straight as possible. Just holding in and bring your chin right in towards the chest. So make that kind of really physical effort just to kind of really draw your chin in. So you feel then as if the base of the skull is getting onto the mat. And then it can always just soften out a little bit from there, and you'll find that the chin will just naturally lift ever so slightly, so it'll take that strain off. But we've just kind of lengthened out in the back of the neck. It really feels good to kind of get that stretch there. And then just closing your eyes. Allow your attention then just to come onto your breathing. So soft, smooth, quiet breath. And then again, just go back to your intention. What was it that brought you to your mat? What was it that you were looking for? And now we have that intention, and you've recalled it. I want you now just to imagine that intention just dissolving. So with each exhalation, just allow it to dissolve, allow it to go. So no effort. Let's release from holding, any holding patterns, any thought patterns, or even anything that you came here to do on your mat today. Allow it all to release, allow it to go. Just allow this time just for you, just to be able to release, let go, just to allow the body just to process just what's happened. Allow it time to rest, time to recover. So no thinking about even who we are, what we do. No goals, no intentions, nothing. Simply breathe and let go. Simply breathe, release and let go. Just let go. Now after your next exhalation, start to bring your awareness back. Being aware of your surroundings. Maybe sounds that you can hear. A taste in your mouth. Being sensitive to the touch of anything that's around you. Allow that awareness then just to open a little bit more. And start to make a few stretches. Gentle, easy stretches. And then allowing them to spread out so it becomes more, again, like that pandiculation. Just, a big stretch out. So we feel then that the limbs start to feel a little bit more rigid as we stretch. Feel that opening, feel that coming awake, being alive feeling. Allow that feeling now to carry on as you start to roll over to one side or you rock yourself up to sitting. And when you're up, just bringing the hands together. So just imagine something small and precious in the palms of the hands. You're holding the hands in towards the heart center. And to seal the practice, bringing the hands up over the crown. Slowly start to draw the hands down towards the Ajna chakra. Your center for intuition, your inner knowledge and wisdom. The Vishuddha at the throat, where you speak your truth and listen well. The Anahata, or center for love and compassion. The Manipura, for your strength, for your will, for your drive. The Svadhisthana, for new beginnings, creativity and change. And the Muladhara, for again your strength, your stability. And then bringing the hands back again to the Anahata chakra. Again, notice that space in between the hands. That being your internal flame, the light that shines within you. And then rub the hands together. So bringing the warmth into the hands from the light and the energy from the hands. Placing it over the eyes. Open your eyes first to the darkness. And then allow the light to come through as you open your hands. And bring the hands away. Namaste. Okay, hope you enjoy yourselves in that one. Let me know how you get on. And it's always really good to hear from you. Okay, and I'll see you soon.